Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. So I am continuing from where I left in my previous audio presentation related with the chapter the Browning version. As you know, I had already started this chapter with you all, and previously also I had posted some tutorial audios for you. I've given some links to you so that you can also follow this chapter very closely. Now, as you know by this time that Taplow and Frank, they are having a conversation, and Crocker Harris is not present, but Crocker Harris's personality, traits, his character, his mentality, all these things are getting exposed because Taplow and Frank, they are communicating, and from Taplow only we get to know about Crocker Harris. Now page number is 53 that I will continue from, and as you know that I stopped with the dialogue of Frank, and he was very much curious to know from Taplow who are the other masters who are sadists. So this shows actually, as I told you earlier, his cheap-minded mentality and his curiosity. So he is not passionate about teaching. He is much more interested to know about controversies. So now let me move on, and as I told you that I will start my next audio presentation with the dialogue of Taplow. So here it is. Taplow: well, of course, they are, sir. I won't mention names. Now this shows Taplow's good presence of mind. And Taplow told that yes, sir, there are some sadists. There are some really cruel teachers who are very, very cruel, who are sadists, who can be equated with sadism and all those. But sir, I don't want to mention their names. But you know them as well as I do. But sir, if I don't mention my names or their names also, I do feel like you know them better than me. You know them personally also. Of course, I know most masters think we boys don't understand a thing. But sir, you are different. You are young, well, comparatively anyway, and you are a science. You must know what sadism is. Now, Taplow ended the dialogue by saying many things. He told that, sir, you know us very well, and we students are also intelligent. We can understand what is sadism and who is a cruel teacher and who is a compassionate one. Sir, you are a young, comparatively young one, and you are science means you are a science teacher. And since you are a young teacher, you are a science teacher, I guess you know practically what sadism is all about. Frank, after a pause: good Lord, what are our schools coming to? It seems that all of a sudden there is a cause of concern that can be seen in him. But previous dialogues that he had uttered, that shows that he was very much eager to know about the other teachers. He is very much eager to listen to controversial things and all this. Now all of a sudden he is behaving as if he is full of concern for the school. And that is the reason, look at his dialogue. Look at the conclusive dialogue on his part. What are our schools coming to? And Taplow, he had spoken his mind, whatever there in his mind. We can't actually blame him for that because the Frank is behaving in a very friendly manner. And so Taplow also had a conversation with him in a very friendly manner. And he admitted in a very clear-cut manner that, sir, you are a science teacher. You are very young. Possibly you know the teachers whom am I not referring to, but possibly from your perspective you know them very well as I do. And since you are a science teacher, I guess you know the practical significance of the meaning of the term sadism, isn't it, sir? Now, listening to this, Frank was speechless for a certain time. There was a pause. He kept quiet for a certain time. Then he uttered, what are our schools coming to? Now all of a sudden, it seems that he became very much concerned about the school. But previously his dialogues haven't been like this. He was very much eager to know about his colleagues. At that time, he never realized that it is actually tarnishing his image, and it is also tarnishing the image of the school. But all of a sudden now, there is a revival or a reawakening in him that he is saying that what are our schools coming to? Now all of a sudden he became very much concerned about the school and very much anxious that the school is going downhill. from the point of view of discipline and cheap mentality and all this. And he's a perfect example of cheap mentality. And he is not a genuine teacher also, because he discouraged Frank from taking up science, being himself a science teacher. And he's frustrated because he's not interested to teach science. Maybe the topics, as I told you, he's not comfortable with all those topics. Now, let me move on. Taplow. Anyway, the croc isn't a sadist. Now, sir, for your confirmation, I want to clarify it once again to you that croc means Crocker Harris. He is not a sadist. You might be thinking that he is also a sadist. But, sir, genuinely speaking, Mr. Crocker Harris is not a sadist at all. That's what I am saying. He wouldn't be so frightening if he were, because at least it would show he had some feelings. But he hasn't. He has no feelings. He's like a machine. He had practically no sense of humor, but he is very serious related with teaching activities. He's very serious when it comes to teaching the students, but he had no feelings as such. He has no feelings as such, but he hasn't. He is all shriveled up inside like a nut. Now he is all shriveled up inside like a nut that he is actually, it seems that there is a soft corner in his heart, but it seems that from outside he looks very rough and tough. He is all shriveled up inside like a nut, and he seems to hate people to like him. This is a very, very important line. Please underline it, dear students. And his main ideology, or rather to say, it seems that it is his nature, it goes on, it went on for many years, that he hate people to like him. And another important thing is that the students, they are very afraid of him, but they love him and they appreciate his strict mentality, because that is the image of Crocker Harris they have in their mind. It's funny that I don't know any other master who doesn't like being liked. And now Taplow's students, they know the mentality of the teachers. Now, teachers' mentality, it will be exposed to the students, and the students, they know many things. Practically the teachers, they can also learn about psychology from the students, because this line is very, very significant. What he's saying is that I don't know any other master who doesn't like being liked. Every teacher, each and every teacher in each school like being liked. So it is a normal human mentality, psychology. So it can't be denied actually. Now I am moving on to page number 54, dear students. And it started with the dialogue of Frank. And I don't know any boy who doesn't use that for his own purposes. Now Frank is accusing Taplow a bit that I guess the students use it for their own purpose sometimes. Actually, Frank also wanted to be very popular among the students. He's a young teacher. But the important thing is that in order to gain popularity among the students, you have to do some novel work. Now, instead of doing that, Frank is very much indulged in cheap mentality. His mentality is very cheap, and he is very much eager to get popularity, cheaper popularity. But Crocker Harris is not like that. As I told you, he is different from the other teachers. So, I am moving on with this dialogue. And I don't know anybody who doesn't use that for his own purposes. Taplow, well, it's natural, sir, but not with the croc. Yes, it's natural. I think every teacher likes to be popular. Every teacher likes to be liked. But for Crocker Harris, he is totally, to be very honest, he never thinks about all this. He teaches. He teaches in a very serious manner. His seriousness, his strict qualities, these things actually the students likes and loves. Despite they know that Crocker Harris has no feelings as such. Well, it's natural, sir, but not with the croc. Frank, Mr. Crocker Harris, Taplow, Mr. Crocker Harris. The funny thing is that this line or this dialogue is very, very important, dear students. The funny thing is that in spite of everything, I do rather like him. Yes, very, very significant line. Taplow is saying that whatever might be his nature, in spite of his strict nature, in spite of his strict behavior, and in spite of his being a hard taskmaster, we all like him. Not only me, my friends and the rest of the school students, we all like him. I can't help it, sir. Now, it comes from inside. Respect, reverence, love, affection. It comes from inside. That is the reason Taplow is saying that I can't help it, sir. You might be thinking that why am I liking a strict teacher, or why my friends like me are liking a strict teacher. But yes, we like him. He's like that. He's a very serious teacher, very much passionate about his teaching. We like him the way he is. And I can't help it, sir. I also like Crocker Harris a lot. Despite having said that, he is a very strict teacher, but he is a very noble and a genuine teacher. And I like him for that, sir, and I can't help it. And sometimes I think he sees it, and that seems to shrivel him up even more. And the important thing is that Crocker Harris, sir, he also notices it, but he can't express himself. He remains cocooned in his own world. He can't express himself so much. Apart from teaching, he can't express himself in front of his students, and he realizes it. But whatever he is, and whatever way he deals with us, with whatever expressions, with whatever is his personality or outlook, we genuinely like him and love him, sir. Frank, I am sure you are exaggerating. Exaggerate means when you are practically making a realistic incident more colorful by adding some more things that are actually not related with the main cause or the main incident. When a situation like this happens, we say you are exaggerating. That means you are adding color to a simple incident. So Frank is also saying that I guess you are exaggerating. I don't think that you are truth, or practically might be you are saying the truth, but you are saying more than a truth, in the sense that you are giving some colorful imageries, you are using some colorful statements, you are making your statement spicy, you are exaggerating it. Taplow, no sir, I am not. Whatever I told, it is absolutely true. I am not exaggerating at all. In form, as I told you, there are some meanings that might seem a bit different from what we know exactly. Form here means school classroom. So let me continue. In form, the other day, he made one of his classical jokes. Of course, nobody laughed because nobody understood it, myself included. Okay, so in class, the other day, he cracked a joke, but the joke is highly intellectual. It was a classical joke. No one understood it at all. Still, I knew he had meant it as funny, so I laughed, out of ordinary common politeness, and feeling a bit sorry for him for having made a poor joke. Now I can't remember what the joke was, but suppose I make it. Now you laugh, sir. Now Frank is laughing. Now the incident was like this, that Crocker Harris, while he was undertaking a class inside the classroom, all of a sudden, it is like a bolt from the blue, something that is unthinkable and unimaginable for a highly serious teacher like Crocker Harris to crack a joke in the class, and he do cracked a joke in the class. And it was an highly intellectual one. It was a classical joke, and it went above the head. But it seems that Taplow do responded, but actually he didn't knew what was the actual inner meaning of the joke, because it was a very intellectual one. As I already told you, it was a classical one. It had a classical Latin reference to it. But Taplow actually felt sorry for the man, because after Crocker Harris has cracked the joke in the class, nobody laughed. Because the main reason behind is that nobody understood. And that is the reason Taplow responded, as Taplow will say the entire thing to Frank. But when Taplow is narrating this incident, Frank also started laughing. Taplow is imitating the voice of Crocker Harris, is impersonating the voice of Crocker Harris. Once again, see, Taplow in a gentle, throaty voice. Taplow, you laughed at my little joke. I noticed. I must confess that I am pleased at the advance your Latin has made, since you so readily have understood. Readily means very quickly. Have understood what the rest of the form did not. What the rest of the form did not means what the rest of the class, they haven't. But I am very, very impressed that you made some advances in your Latin and you understood my joke. Perhaps now you would be good enough to explain it to them, so that they too can share your pleasure. Now, this is the main problem that actually happened, because Crocker Harris felt very impressed that at least in this entire class, only Taplow stood up. Or maybe Taplow smiled, and Crocker Harris thought that maybe Taplow understood the significance of the joke. So he told Taplow that, why don't you explain what I told right now to the entire class, so that like you have shared the pleasure, let them also share the pleasure of the joke that I had uttered in the class. But frankly speaking, Taplow laughed. Actually, he felt sorry for Crocker Harris. But to be very honest, he haven't understood the significance of the joke that was uttered by Crocker Harris in the class. Now, he was referring to that incident, and again he was doing a voiceover of Crocker Harris in the voice of Crocker Harris. That means he was once again impersonating Crocker Harris. So, see this line. Perhaps now you would be good enough to explain it to them, so that they too can share your pleasure. Now, Crocker Harris asked him at that time that, could you please share your what you have understood, that the joke I uttered, you smiled, probably you understood the significance of the joke, of this classical joke. Could you please say to your friends so that they can also get a share of the pleasure that you have received after listening and understanding this joke? Now, what exactly happened after that, or how Taplow reacted in the class in front of his friends, in front of Crocker Harris, that has not been mentioned here. So when they were talking at that time, Millie Crocker Harris comes out. Okay, because she was waiting for Frank. As I told you that she was dating Frank, but because of Taplow waiting there and having a long conversation with Frank, she can't come out of her house. So dear students, in my next audio presentation, I will continue from the next line. So I guess up to this you have understood. If there is any sort of doubt, any sort of problem, do let me know. I will clear it out. Please listen to this audio presentation. Thank you, students. Thank you all.